Zoos are places where wild animals are kept for public display, and also sites of sophisticated breeding centers where endangered species may be protected and studied. Zoos also provide a wildlife environment for the animals. It helps to maintain a natural habitat required by the animals. Some zoos, like an aquarium in Monterey, California, are dedicated to one species or set of species. Zoos are great, right? You get to be up close and personal with some amazing animals that you'd pretty much never get to see in the wild. But when it comes to the animals, zoos might cause more harm than good. Needless to say, zoos have a pretty tough job keeping all those exotic and sometimes dangerous animals happy and fed. But some people just can't leave well enough alone and decide that just looking at the animals isn't enough for them. Here are 10 accidents which people fell into animal enclosures at zoos. Number 1. Jersey Zoo. In 1986, the UK Zoo was rocked by an incident similar to what happened in Cincinnati in 2016. According to New York Daily News, 5-year-old Levon Merritt fell into the gorilla enclosure at the Jersey Zoo and losing consciousness. One of the zoo's silverback male gorillas, Jambo, approached the bleeding and unmoving child. Jambo did not react violently, but instead sat down, rubbed his back, and guarded Merritt from the other gorillas in the exhibit. The boy eventually gained consciousness and began to cry, scaring off Jambo and allowing keepers a chance to safely retrieve the boy. Now, 30 years after the iconic video footage made headlines around the world, Levon Merritt has shared his memories of that fateful day and revealed how he cannot wait to take his 2 children back to the place that shaped him as a person. The incident on August 30, 1986 had a profound impact on his life, from developing a permanent relationship with the Jersey Zoo to dealing with bullies at school who teased him with insults such as Tarzan and Gorilla Boy. Number 2. Pittsburgh Zoo. On November 5, 2012, the 2-year-old boy mauled by African painted dogs Sunday fell over the railing on which his mother put him to view the wild animals at the Pittsburgh Zoo, police said. The boy died after falling 14 feet into the exhibit, said Barbara Baker, director of the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium. Barker said it's unclear whether the boy died from the fall or the attack. Zoo officials tried firing darts to scare the dogs away from the child, but the animals, which are pack hunters, did not immediately respond. The dogs were eventually moved from the exhibit with the exception of one, which had to be shot after it continued to be aggressive to the boy. The boy and his mother, 34, are Pennsylvania residents, were visiting the zoo just before noon when the police say the toddler's mother stood the boy on a wooden railing outside the exhibit. Witnesses say the boy lost his balance and fell into the exhibit. That's when all 11 dogs pounced on the toddler and began to maul him. Witnesses said the scene lasted 5 minutes, but felt like an eternity. Number 3. Brookfield Zoo. In a 1996 incident at an Illinois zoo, a female gorilla cradled a 3-year-old boy who fell nearly 20 feet into her enclosure, resulting in a much different outcome than a similar incident in Cincinnati in 2016. An 8-year-old gorilla named Binti Jua made worldwide headlines when she carried a boy to safety after he slipped away from his mother and climbed through a barrier at the Western Lowland Gorilla Pit at the Brookfield Zoo in 1996. Video shows the boy lying on the ground before Binti Jua gingerly picks him up around the waist, carrying him to a door where rescuers waited as a crowd looked on. There were 6 other gorillas in the exhibit at the time. The 150-pound gorilla carried her own 17-month baby named Kula on her back throughout her encounter with a boy, which may indicate that her maternal instincts led her to rescue him. The boy suffered a broken hand and cuts to his face and spent 4 days at the hospital. He and his mother were never identified. Number 4. Santiago Metropolitan Zoo. A zoo killed 2 lions to save a man who jumped into the big cat's enclosure in the Chilean capital. The man climbed over the fence and removed his clothes before approaching the lions, according to a statement posted on the Santiago Metropolitan Zoo Facebook page. He was apparently attempting suicide, and a note was found in his clothes, Chilean media reported. Zoo staff shot and killed 2 of the lions with live rounds to protect the man, the zoo statement said. Due to the circumstances and to firstly protect the life of this person, we found ourselves obliged to apply all of our security protocols, the zoo statement reads. The 2 lions, a male and a female, were shot in front of a large crowd of zoo visitors. The male lion was born at the zoo, while the lioness was rescued from a circus, local media reported. The zoo said it took the incomprehensible action of killing 2 of its 3 lions, which was profoundly painful for every single one of us. Number 5. Berlin Zoo. April 13, 2009. A woman is lucky to be alive after she jumped a fence at the Berlin Zoo to enter the polar bear's enclosure during feeding time and was subsequently attacked by one of the bears, said one zoo expert. After long, panicked seconds in the bear's moat with one of the massive animals biting at her backside, keepers were able to save the female by pushing away the bear that was attacking her and dragging the woman back up the enclosure wall. The intruder sustained serious injuries, but managed to survive the encounter. Number 6. Cleveland METROPARKS Zoo. On April 11, 2015, a 2-year-old boy fell into the cheetah exhibit at the Cleveland METROPARKS Zoo. Although the incident didn't last for very long, the child was injured from the fall, but was unharmed by the animals. According to CMZ, the toddler was quickly retrieved by his parents and transported to Metro Health Medical Center by Cleveland EMS for an apparent leg injury. Eyewitness accounts indicate that the child was held over the railing by his parents before he was dropped. Zoo staff report that the cheetahs did not make any attempt to interact with the child or his parents. Number 7. Detroit Zoo. In 1990, during a visit to the Detroit Zoo, truck driver Rick Swope did something no one else would do, and tragedy was averted because of it. As Swope stood looking in on the facility's ape enclosure, a fight broke out between a chimp named Jojo and another male. After the brief scuffle, Jojo tried to escape, only to end up falling into a deep moat designed to keep him in. Since chimps are unable to swim, the move nearly proved fatal. Everyone in the whole place was just standing around watching this monkey drown, Swope told the news. When he went down the second time, I knew I had to do something. Despite being warned to keep away by a zookeeper, Swope sprang into action, climbing a security wall to dive in after Jojo, saving the chimp's life while putting his own at risk. Toronto Zoo. Toronto Zoo officials are warning people not to try what was shown in a viral video posted online. The video shows a woman jumping the fence of a tiger enclosure at the zoo to retrieve a fallen hat. The tiger is seen stalking the woman from behind a second fence as she climbs back over to the public. Bystanders in the video can be seen getting visibly upset over the incident and can be heard calling the jumper a moron. From that perspective, we would encourage people to follow zoo rules and just be conscious of your surroundings as well. Zoo staff is here to help should there be anything like this happening in the future. Number 9. SeaWorld Orlando. The body of a 27-year-old man was found floating on the back of a killer whale in a tank at SeaWorld Adventure Park. The apparent victim of a whale's horseplay, authorities said. The Orange County Sheriff's Office said the man apparently climbed into the tank after hiding in the park after closing. A park employee spotted the man's naked body early Tuesday, draped over the back of Tilikum, the largest killer whale in captivity. The man's bathing suit was found in the pool. There was no obvious signs of trauma to the body. He wasn't chewed. He wasn't dismembered, said Jim Solomons, a spokesman for the sheriff's office. The body had been in the water for quite a long time and had scrapes on it, possibly a sign the victim had been dragged along the bottom, Solomons said. The 11,000-pound, 22-foot-long whale, he said, was not accustomed to people being in his tank and wouldn't have realized he was dealing with a very fragile human being. While we will probably never know the exact cause of death, Solomons said, he may have been a victim of what a whale would call horseplay, just playing around. Number 10. Beijing Zoo. Zhang and Ding Ding, his 5-year-old son, were on a visit to his relatives in Beijing. They visited the zoo with Dong Junxi, Zhang's brother-in-law, and Ding Ding was desperate to see the pandas. To please his son, Zhang bought him a panda toy, but the boy dropped the toy into the panda's enclosure by accident. Seeing no pandas around, Zhang jumped over the fence to retrieve the toy. We were shocked to see a panda rushing at him from a distance of no more than 10 meters, Dong said. According to Dong, Zhang made an attempt to escape, but some bystanders, thinking the panda was harmless, urged him to stand his ground. Zhang stayed where he was and the panda made its attack, knocking Zhang down and biting his left leg. Dong jumped into the enclosure to rescue his brother-in-law, trying to drag the panda off, but his efforts were in vain as the panda went on to maul Zhang's right leg. A 40-year-old zookeeper rushed to the scene and called for help from his fellow keepers. In minutes, the rescuers used hand tools to separate the panda from its victim. Special feature: the killing of a gorilla in 2016 in the Cincinnati Zoo serves as a stark reminder of the safety lapses for animals and humans alike that continue to affect zoos worldwide, including the United States. Officials at the Cincinnati Zoo shot and killed Harambe, a 17-year-old western lowland gorilla, in an effort to protect a young child who had fallen into the enclosure. Harambe's death comes at a time when each gorilla's life is vital. Western lowland gorillas are critically endangered, numbering fewer than 175,000 in the wild. There are about 765 gorillas like Harambe in zoos worldwide, 360 of which are members of a captive breeding program. Harambe is the first gorilla to be fatally shot in a US zoo since the 2004 death of Jabari, a 13-year-old western lowland gorilla that escaped from Dallas Zoo and attacked several people before charging at police officers who ultimately shot him. Even though the gorilla is a gentle giant, we must remember that the animal has incredible strength and could have easily killed the child. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we upload a new video. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.